Hi, is that Brant?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too, man.
That's good. Whereabouts are you at the moment?
I'm at my home out in Joshua Tree, California.
So you were raised in the desert and you still live in the desert?
Not exactly. I was raised in the desert, but I now live in Los Angeles in Venice Beach. I live there with my wife and two kids, but we have another home here in the desert, which is actually where I have my own studio. I'm here recording the new record right now.
Right. And we'll start off with the fact that you are headed to Australia.
Yeah.
That's next month. You'll be in Australia. You have, of course, been here before, but how many times have you been here?
You know, I think I've been to Australia too many times to count now. I lost count, but I've been there enough to know that it's one of my favorite places to travel to and to play music. It's just always a pleasure. I'm excited.
Well, you do seem to do, well, a lot of touring as well as a lot of recording and that. Like, you must have a very understanding wife.
That's funny. I do have a very understanding wife, but that's not to say that she can't get frustrated every once in a while when my schedule just gets pretty intense. You know, I miss her and I miss the kids, and the time apart can be tough. But I music's my passion, and it's obviously what I do. It's my work, my life force, and it's what I do, man. So we deal with it. And we just make it work, man,
Yeah. Well, I'm of the thought that if it's in your bio, then you are willing to talk about it. So we'll talk about the fact that you were actually given up for adoption as a small child and raised in the desert. Do you think, like, from reading all the stuff you've done and that, I get the feeling you've got this nothing to lose kind of attitude. Do you think that comes with being an adopted child?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. I knew at a young age that my life was a blessing and that I wouldn't and shouldn't and couldn't take it for granted. And that I figured I'm just find something inside me just said, find what you love and just go for it, because it would just be a waste of a blessing and an opportunity to just waste this life on mediocrity or something that I don't 100% love and enjoy,
Yeah. Well, you do list quite a few different influences from when you were a teenager and decided to start playing music, from Iggy Pop to Black Sabbath and The Doors and Jimi Hendrix, Ramones. Have you ever had the opportunity to play with any of those bands?
Let's see. I actually have become very good friends with DJ Ramone, the bass player that took Dee Dee's spot in the Ramones in the 90s. I met DJ while he was in the Ramones, and we became good friends, and we're very close friends to this day. And I played with him for a while, and that was fantastic. And I've done some festivals with Black Sabbath, but I mean, we certainly weren't playing right before them. Never played with Iggy or the Stooges. I think we might have done a festival with them as well, but haven't really been close to these bands on any specific level. I mean, they're just classic rock bands whose records that I grew up listening to. And they were all kind of untouchable to me growing up. I had no ambition to try and hunt them down or meet them or even play alongside them or even in PJ's case, playing in band. But, sometimes dreams just happen and you find yourself doing something super rad and crazy that you didn't think you would be doing. But yeah, so they're just those are my influences, the records I grew up on, man.
Yeah. Well, with your current tour of Australia, you're coming with the Low Desert Punk Band?
Yeah, Low Desert Punk Band, exactly.
Right, which is the name of one of your record labels as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Low Desert Punk is just this kind of concept that I came up with years ago, about 15, 20 years ago. And it just kind of represents me and where I come from. And, punk rock has kind of turned into this systematic, formulaic thing. And when I was growing up and getting into punk rock, it was really about, like, freedom of expression. It was an art movement. And I'm an artist, and I'm an artist before I consider myself an artist before a musician. And so the word punk just kind of represents, style and freedom. And I like the fact that I've just kind of taken the term punk and reinventing it for myself. It's about, like, be whoever you want, be what you are. And that's what this is. It's just Low Desert Punk. That's my own style.
Yeah. We seem to have been constantly releasing things and that, but is there actually an album to go with this tour?
Yeah, I'm actually, like I said, recording the record right now. I've got 12 new songs, and we hope to have the record out probably around late August, September. And I'm really excited. I can't remember the last time I was this excited about a record.
Cool. So you haven't released it yet. That means you'll have to come back to Australia early next year.
Well, that was kind of the plan. You know, this tour, this offer came in for this tour, and I wasn't expecting it, and I thought, well, this would probably be a great time to come down and just kind of introduce Australia to the new band and the new sound and the new songs, and then release the record, and then I'll probably come back probably in December or January and do a proper headline tour to support the record. Yeah.
Is Vista Chino, are they still doing anything? Are they still working?
Vistacino is kind of on a hiatus. John Garcia decided that he wanted to pursue a solo career, which was actually kind of a shock to all of us. It's a beautiful shock for me because I'm able to pursue my own work now. But at the time, it was a bit of a shock, and we just adjusted. And so VC is literally on hiatus.
So that was right, I guess, on the back of the lawsuit about the name Kyuss.
Yeah.
So I guess you were probably, it just wasn't a good time. Like with the shock, you just gotten through that, and then to find out he wanted to do some stuff on his own.
Yeah. Kyuss is a big part of my music legacy, and it was a great band, and those are dudes that I grew up with, and I thought Kyuss Lives was an amazing experience. I'm just so grateful for that experience. I'm so proud of what we accomplished, and because of the lawsuit, it evolved into Vistacino, which I thought was a very respectable, awesome transition, and the record's great. And it was there was a cost for all those beautiful things to be manifested, and it was worth it. And but in the end, when John just said he quickly wanted to make a left turn, I was a bit frustrated and upset for a couple minutes, but afterwards I realized, you know what, it's probably for the best, because I really, truly am excited to depart from Kyuss and the people involved. It's, my solo work has always been my highest passion, and I'm very stoked to be back to that now.
Well, that's just it. You have the whole time that you've been in bands, you've also been doing solo projects and working with other bands and artists and that on their recordings, haven't you?
I have. I've been very proactive and prolific in helping others and being involved in multiple projects. And, I enjoy being creative, and I enjoy working with, collaborations. I enjoy working with other musicians, and but it's hard. It's not easy to work with other artists and other people. Sometimes there can be amazing results, and sometimes it can just be a very frustrating situation with, different people wanting to go in different directions. But I'm really excited about this band. This band was primarily put together because these guys are all my friends, and they're all just super cool, and we're all on the same page. And so that was the prerequisite for this band to come together, is that everyone was cool and that they were my friends. Because then the music will be an extension of that brotherhood, So I'm just so excited about this band.
Yeah. And, of course, when you do come to Australia, you're going to be starting in Brisbane on the 23rd of May, and you're going to Byron Bay, Adelaide, and then you'll be at the Ding Dong Lounge in Melbourne on the 29th of May, and you're also playing Geelong at the Barwon Club.
Yeah, great.
And on the 2nd of June, you'll be playing in WA, and there's 2 stages of music there, and you're playing with the Meat Puppets as well.
Great.
Are you friends with the Meat Puppets?
I can't say that I'm friends with them. I'd be more than happy to be friends with them, because I'm a big fan, and I love the Meat Puppets. They're an amazingly awesome band. I've never had the pleasure of meeting those guys, and I look forward to rubbing shoulders with them.
Well, you will definitely be friends with them after this, I'm sure. Is there any chance of any other shows popping up while you're here, or are you just content to do the ones you've got booked in?
Well, I'm very content to come down and do what I'm scheduled to do. There hasn't been any talk of any other shows added, although we are going to New Zealand. We found out, I think, a week ago. We've had 2 New Zealand dates added on. I know that doesn't have much to do with Australia, but we were just talking about that a minute ago. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we're down there. I mean, it's kind of not up to me, I guess. It's kind of up to the Australians.
Is there something that you look forward to the most when you are coming back to Australia?
Well, the general vibe in Australia just reminds me a lot of hanging out with my friends here in Southern California, and so I just enjoy the energy in Australia, and I've got some dear friends down there, and, and the fans really appreciate rock music, and they really appreciate the music that I'm directly involved with, and the whole experience is one of pleasure.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at your website and you do have, as I said, you've got a lot of releases. Your last one on here was Gods and Goddesses in 2010. And there are iTunes links here, but are they available on CD or vinyl?
Yes. All my music is available on CD and vinyl. I have quite a big catalog of solo material. I think I've got upwards of about 10 records. I honestly don't know. They're definitely all circulating. I don't know exactly which ones are, if there is a couple that are out of print. I leave that up to my partner and distributor, Randy Boyd. He kind of handles my catalog. But he's actually owns a distribution company in Southern California called Cobra Side, which is one of the biggest vinyl distributors in the United States. And you could certainly get any of my records directly from him if you wanted to avoid one-stops or record stores, whatever.
Right. Sorry, what was the name?
Cobra Side.
Cobra Side.
Yeah, one word.
At the moment, people can find out almost anything they want to about you at brantbjork.com. And I noticed, you've got links to social media, but you don't really have a Facebook page, and your Twitter page is gone.
I've got a team of people in my management who are now setting up my social media and preparing to launch the Blitzkrieg and get everything going. And my drummer is very proactive with social media, so he's going to handle Twitter and all that stuff. I myself am just not really into the social media thing. I see it as necessary for an artist these days to get out there and make sure that people know that you're available and your music's out there. But for me as a participant, I'm really not, and haven't been for years, I'm just really not interested in participating in social media. To do an interview or something like that is fine, but I generally stay away from that kind of stuff.
Right. You do have a YouTube channel too, which you're Brant Bjork 73 on YouTube. And other than a couple of live performances, and I'm guessing there's at least one proper video there. What's Brant Bjork Talks Punk Rock Guilt? What is punk rock guilt?
Oh, that was one of my records that I released. It was recorded in 2005 and was released in 2009, 8 or 9, I think. 8.
Yeah. Well, then, you are a multi-instrumentalist and you do seem to live and breathe music, and I'm guessing you do a lot of projects because not a lot of people can keep up with you with how much music you want to make. Is there anything else that you have a passion for outside of music? Is there another creative pursuit or?
Well, I love to paint. If I wasn't playing music, I would probably pursue just fine arts, like painting and drawing. And I love, the one thing that I'm not able to really indulge in on the level that I would like to, because music just consumes so much of my time, is film. I love film. I love movies. And, I study screenplays and screenwriting. And one day I hope to take my music passion and talent and interweave it with, a screenplay and maybe directing a film. That's the ultimate dream. So, but we'll see. We'll see how that comes about. I'm patient. I'm in no hurry to do that.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it'd be awesome. And so then, I'm not sure how old your children are, but are either of them at the moment looking like they might follow you into the music industry?
Well, I have 2 boys. One is 3.5, and the other one is 2. And they're young, and they definitely show interest in things that I enjoy. I like to watch movies and be outside and goof off. And my youngest one, Brazil, he's already wants to beat on the drums. I bought him both a couple drum sets, and my older boy Swan, he doesn't show much interest in the drum set, but my younger boy Brazil does. But they're still young. There's no telling what they're gonna get into, and I don't really care either. I mean, I as long as they're happy and they're pursuing something that they enjoy, that's all I care about.
Well, if one of them or both of them, whatever, did become musicians, what's the one piece of advice that you would want to impart on them?
That's a good question. Advice for my sons who might pursue music. I would just say you better make sure you truly love music, because it's a long and winding road, and chances are it's going to buck you off the horse from time to time. But so I would just say make sure you're convicted in your passion. Make sure you truly love it. If you're just a weekend warrior or you just want to flirt with the art, I would say maybe have a good time, but don't hang your hat on it. But if they really truly are into it, I would say, yeah, well, just make sure that you truly love it and then give it your all.
Yeah. People can find you at brantbjork.com, and you will be in Australia on the 23rd of May in Brisbane, the 24th in Byron Bay, the 28th of May in Adelaide, 29th of May in Melbourne at the Ding Dong Lounge, the 30th at Geelong at the Bowen Club, and then on the 2nd of June you'll be at the Astor Rocks at the Astor Theatre in Western Australia with the Meat Puppets.
Yeah.
People should definitely get out for that and look forward to the album coming out later in the year and then the return tour next year.
For sure, 100%.
And good luck, and thank you very much for your time, and I hope you do have a really good time when you get down here.
Okay, I will.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you probably at the Ding Dong Lounge.
Sounds good.
Bye.